What is going on, everybody? This is Mike from the last Corvette. So while I'm draining the gear lube out of this Mariah boat, by the way, this is a pretty badass boat. Not mine. It belongs to one of my customers. Got a 350 mag Alpha 1 drive, through hull exhaust, kept in call. Pretty sweet. So let me tell you something. I truly enjoy making videos, and I also enjoy answering comments. As you guys can see, the C6 is missing. It's still at Dupson Performance because the tuner has COVID. So more than likely it's going to be done sometime next week. They obviously have it inside the shop. But even if they had it outside, I don't care. I have full coverage, and if it rains, it's not going to melt, even though if it's made out of fiberglass. So here is the latest comment that I received. The comment is as follows. On a scale of 1 to 10, what would you rate swapping out the fuel pump, dropping the tank, obviously, and doing the fuel pump? I replied as an 8 out of 10. Let me explain why. I had it set up in my garage. I don't have a lift. I don't have a two-post lift. I don't have a quick jack lift. And speaking of quick jack, something that I want to purchase this summer to make my life easier when it comes to my other projects that I want to do to the C6. But when it comes to the tank itself, you do need a two-post lift because the quick jack would actually get in the way of the cradle that holds the fuel tank, regardless if it's the driver's side or the passenger side, and it would make it damn near impossible to remove the cradle and also drop the tank. So I resorted to the only way that I know. Jacks and jack stands, and also this big old hunk of wood, which was my safety number 2, sitting under the rear cradle just in case something let loose. Before I begin, you need to understand that a proper way of doing this service is removing the entire cradle as one assembly. So your rear suspension, both of your rear tires, your diff, your transmission drops right out. That gives you a full access to not only a tank, but both of the tanks, all the evap lines, and your crossover pipe. It's such a big pain in the butt, as you guys know from my videos or anybody else you can ask, or from other videos on YouTube, or even forum write-ups. So that's the reason why they charge so much. There's a lot of labor involved. Now, of course, if you're a seasoned tech, you've done this, let's say a dozen times, you have a two-post lift, it's probably going to be on a scale of 5 to 6, probably a 5. Same thing with a performance shop that does it, let's say 3 times a season or 3 times a year, depending on the area that you live in, probably a 5. There's still a lot of things you need to know. There's still a lot of things that are unknown when you do these projects when it comes to, obviously, the fuel pump and the fuel tank removal process, because parts break. And that's why the dealerships will charge upwards of $3,000 to this job. That's just a basic fuel pump swap, not an upgraded fuel pump, and whatever breaks along the way, which it will, you'll have to pay for as well. So in my case, I'm going to tell you this. If you have a 4-speed automatic C6, one of the OGs, you can do it in your garage. If you have a 6-speed automatic, you can do it in your garage. That's what I got. A lot of people are saying that, you can't do it. It's too big, it's too wide, it's in the way of everything. No. Same thing if you have a 6-speed manual. It definitely can be done in your garage, in your driveway, in your parking lot, obviously weather permitting. But yes, it's 8 out of 10 if you go that route. Now, one of the things that I wanted to point out, and I've brought this up before, there's a couple of videos of people doing this job or this service with the car ramps, which I use. So the front end of the vehicle is sitting on top of the car ramps. And then what they'll do is they'll jack up the rear cradle center line, right where your diff is, and elevate the entire vehicle. What that does is, even if you use jack stands, you're at the mercy. If God forbid something happens and the vehicle starts rolling off, the jack stands are not going to prevent the vehicle from rolling off and crushing somebody under it. So what I did from my experience working on cars is I kept my passenger rear tire planted on the floor in my garage with a tire chuck and also with the e-brake engaged. What that does is, being that the vehicle is elevated, I still have contact. I still have that extra support, that extra safety net for me. The only time that I actually went in and raised the vehicle from the center was to pull the tank out, and when it was time to put the tank back in, which I had to do twice. You can watch the videos because I had to replace some sleeves, some O-rings, and basically learn as I went. But I did this from the outside. I wasn't under the vehicle when I was jacking the vehicle up, okay, with my garage door open. I didn't put myself in danger. And then once I was done pulling the tank out or pulling the tank back into, or I should say, putting the tank back into the cavity, I would lower the vehicle back onto the passenger tire, onto the jack stands, onto the block of wood, and that was super safe. Now, of course, once again, when you're working on a lift, you have all the room. You have all the reach. You have all the room. You're more flexible. Working under the car, it's pretty tight. And it's doable. That's the key. If you put yourself in the position, or if you think that it's not possible, it's like anything else in life, you're going to fail at it. So, once again, ask away, ask me questions, and I will definitely try to make videos and explain to you guys how I did it. And there's actually a video coming when I get this vehicle back from a full ethanol tune. I'm going to walk through the entire process from start to finish, and also show you guys, as I said before, what I upgraded besides the fuel pump. Talk to you guys later.